Hi everyone. You've heard a little bit from our group already about the student debt crisis, but I think it's really important to keep in mind that we as student affairs professionals owe it to our students to provide support as they invest in their education. And as we've learned through the course of the semester, higher education is expensive to provide, and so we're asking students to provide a lot of the funding for those programs and support services that they need. And so one area that we can provide assistance to those students is through financial literacy. And the Jumpstart Coalition defines financial literacy as the ability to use knowledge and skills to manage one's financial resources effectively for a lifetime of financial security. Similarly, the Financial Literacy Education Commission views financial literacy as having the information, education, and tools that the American public need to make good financial decisions in an increasingly complex U.S. and global financial system. And it's really important to provide students information about their loans at the time that they're taking these loans out. But arguably, you can say that it's more important to provide students information once they've graduated. And so when you're thinking about student loans, it's really important to keep in mind the general time frame. Many of you probably remember back before you started college, you were filling out the FAFSA, you were kind of learning what a student loan means. And then once you got into college, you started to learn a little bit more about what your responsibilities as a loan borrower would be. And after college, you probably enjoyed that grace period before you started making payments and actually starting the repayment of your loan. But it's become increasingly more important to focus on that period after graduating from college, since more and more students have begun to fund their education with credit cards. And while student loans through the financial aid office are still important, students don't have as much knowledge. Some studies have shown about personal finance and knowing exactly what it means to have debt and how to go about repaying those. And there are also a lot of incentives for universities to also make sure that students have the education that they need to repay those loans, since institutions with high student loan default rates are at risk of losing their Title IV status, which basically allows those institutions to participate in financial support programs such as federal Pell Grants or other financial aid programs. And so the main educational tool that is in use right now for students that leave their institution of higher education, whether that's through graduation, they drop below full-time status, or decide not to continue their education, is coming directly from the lender. And so for many students, they're required by law to complete some exit counseling. And exit counseling provides important information students need to help repay their federal loans. This includes information about their rights and responsibilities as a borrower, as well as a repayment schedule, their rights to deferment or cancellation of their student loans. But also really important to keep in mind is that by completing an exit interview, this does not mean that a student can't return to school. And should they decide to attend school again within that grace period, their student loan would return to an in-school deferment. And while exit counseling seems to be the only required education for students once they leave college, many loan providers do make available different resources for students, whether these are planning sessions or budgeting strategies to help students prepare for those loan payments, options for students that are unable to make their payments in a timely manner or make a full payment, debt consolidation services. But it's really important to keep in mind that students have to seek out these resources on their own. It's not something that is at the forefront or required like the exiting counseling is. And so it's really important to keep in mind that financial literacy is kind of the key to making sure that students have the resources that they need to be successful and make sure that their loans are not contributing to the student loan crisis that we've been discussing this week. So hope you guys found this information helpful, and let us know if you have any questions.